All right. This is my first time using my 360 camera. I'm holding it like this. Horrible lighting in this apartment. I know that, but I'm testing this out. It is a rainy day in Palermo, and I slept in because honestly, I've been getting up really early for my classes, and I just needed a day of rest. But I am hungry, so I'm gonna go out and grab something to eat, and I'm hoping um, that I can go to a cafe, so you guys can come along with me, and a bookstore, and then get some writing done. So let's go do that. All right, so this is my daily walk. It is a very easy, flat walk. Where I'm staying in Palermo, it's a really nice neighborhood, so they really invested in the sidewalks because there's other neighborhoods where the sidewalks are a little funky or uneven. But this is a neighborhood where there's a lot of stores. So as you can see, there's a Calvin Klein. We're gonna pass a Louis Vuitton store, a Prada store. I didn't know this neighborhood before when I got it on Airbnb was like this. I knew it was one of the quieter neighborhoods, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want to be right in the middle of most of the restaurants and very a little loud, but this is like a very peaceful neighborhood. So, and it's also a very easy walk where I'm going to. The cafe I'm going to is like a 14-minute walk, and then if I go any further I hit the main theater where the opera house is at. So, and all the other um touristy spots. So I enjoy it because it's like I'm close enough to all the sites I want to see. However, there is a distance, so it's quieter, it's less chaotic, and it's just really peaceful. And even at night, it's well lit. It's beautiful to walk through, and there's still plenty of people out. So today in particular, though, because it was a Wednesday and it was the first day it was rainy after like 2 weeks of really nice weather, there wasn't a lot of people out. So Palermo does have quiet days when it's like on and off raining. It's not too cold yet, so even though it's raining, it's still like high 60s, low 70s. So you'll see some people walking around in like shorts with an umbrella because it was raining like on again, off again raining. But I hope you all enjoy my little walking. I had to be very careful. I was like trying to manage the camera to make sure the camera doesn't fall. And then I also am always looking down because I have sprained my ankle twice in the last year, not here in Sicily. And so I'm being very mindful because, again, like the streets can be uneven, there's potholes and things like that. Also, heads up, if you're ever in Palermo, do look before you cross the street. There are stop signs and crosswalks, but everyone just seems to drive just going. Like no one really wants to stop for pedestrians and unless there's an actual red light, and even then people just don't care about the red lights. So double check, look both ways before you go. And even like people riding bikes don't stop, and I'm like, you're on a bike and there's scooters, just be very mindful of all that. All right. I hope you enjoy the rest of this walk. right, so as you can see, I'm at this major crosswalk that does have a light. So I do just wait until it's green, so for myself and other people to cross. And as you can tell, it's raining. I still have my umbrella. But as we continue walking, you'll start to see that it gets busier. So you'll see the difference that I mean from like the neighborhood I'm staying at where it's a little bit quieter. I just crossed this major street and then it's like it's it's more people. Um and more stores like a and a lot of like American stores. So there's a Sephora if you keep going down, an H&M, a Lego store, and then there's also restaurants and cafes and things along those lines. So it's pretty busy. And then as you can see, the two buildings ahead right now they look beige-ish. When you're walking in between those two buildings, there's limited cars. At first, I thought it was no cars allowed, but there are cars that drive through it. I think it's just like limited cars, but I don't think people really follow the rules there. All right, so I'm just walking along, and I hope you enjoy these really, not really, sorry, these real sounds. I was gonna put background music, but I thought it might be interesting just to hear like the real sounds of Palermo when I'm walking. So I hope you guys enjoy these real sounds, and then we'll get to the
Non ti preoccupare.
So I've been down this alleyway numerous times. It's one of my favorite spots because it's quiet and it has a few restaurants. So this was my second time going to this particular restaurant. I always bring my book along with me because honestly, like, so what else am I gonna do, right? And I didn't want to spend my whole time eating just with like my phone. So I grabbed myself a glass of wine and then I ordered this pasta dish that you're gonna see very soon. It is I misread it. It was too cheesy for me. I didn't know it was gonna be this cheesy. I really was excited about the bacon and the black truffle, um, but I was just not feeling the the cheesiness of this pasta, and I was a little bummed because I did leave my Airbnb quite hungry. I wish I ordered something else, but it wasn't the restaurant's fault. I just ordered the wrong thing, and it was like way too cheesy. But afterwards, sorry, I'm playing with my Insta 360 there because I'm just like still trying to figure out this camera. Afterwards, I did order a tiramisu, and then I made my way to the bookstore.
Dove c'è?
So after I ate, I just walked 4 minutes to this bookstore that I mentioned in the previous video, book shopping with me in Palermo. It is that chain, Forna Tel- Telenili, but want to pronounce it. It is a bookstore chain. It has like 120 bookstores in Italy. So it is the biggest bookstore that has English language books. So I wanted to go back in and see if they had any books that I would be able that I wanted to buy. And so because it was raining, they had bags out, plastic bags out that you could use to put your umbrella in. And you will see right now that I was struggling on figuring out how to like um, first rip off the plastic bag, and then I was able to open it, but trying to stuff my umbrella in, I don't know why. It was I was on the struggle bus, okay? It was sort of embarrassing. I was there a little bit longer than I wanted to be to try to put the plastic bag over the umbrella. So I figured it out, but yeah. I thought this was really nice because it is wooden floors and you have people go up and down stairs. So I thought it was nice to make sure the floors don't get too wet and people don't slip. So I went back upstairs. Again, the English language books and also all the books in different languages are on the second floor. So I went up and then I decided just to look around. It was just me and a few people in the bookstore because, again, it was raining. It was a Wednesday. On the weekends, this bookstore gets very busy. When I was there on a Saturday just to buy a notebook, it was like chaotic. But on a Wednesday in the rain, it's pretty peaceful. So yeah, I'm just walking around. I hope you all enjoyed this 360 Insta 360 view of the bookstore because I think it really shows all the different types of books you'll have. So I go straight to the fiction, and then there's that one shelf of nonfiction, just to see what books they have. They don't have the widest selection. We really just have like the most popular authors in English. So if you like some niche authors, you might not find it here, but it is a bookstore in other countries, so it is what it is. All right, so I like to move the books aside to see what they're hiding. There was this book called The Women, and I wasn't sure if it was that because there is a movie from the 1930s and then also a few years ago in 2010, 2011 called The Women. And I thought, oh my God, is that movie based off a book? It's not. This is completely different storyline. That's why I was looking at it because I was like, oh, that would be really cool. If you haven't seen the movie, it's a really I haven't seen the 1930s one, but I did see the one that came out a few years ago with Eva Longoria. Um, and oh my God, Meg Ryan. I thought it was a good movie. Anyways, this seems to be my section where there's some romance, some YA, but all the books that they have that are romance and YA, I've already read, like the ones I like. The rest are just like books I'm like, they're a little too young for me, or I just don't feel like reading it. And right now, the two books I have are very serious reads. And so I wanted fluff. I wanted a fluff book that I haven't read, but like good fluff, not like Hallmark fluff, you know? I hate Hallmark writing books. It's or Hallmark written books. It's like garbage. So I was thinking, oh, maybe Malibu Rising, but I'm not like the biggest fan of that author. I did like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but all the other books haven't really spoke to me. So, and then I was looking at the nonfiction books, thinking maybe I'll read a nonfiction book while I'm out. But let's be honest, I'm not a nonfiction queen. Um, I I'm just like, no, I'm okay. And then I decided to go to these tables that also had books written in English, to see if there was any that were speaking to me. And the ones that were, again, were the serious ones that were talking about serious issues. And I'm like, I don't want that right now. We're getting to the holiday season. I want like books that make me feel good about society. And I just was not finding that. So I don't know what book I just picked up right now, but I was reading it just to see if it was something it was the My Brilliant Friend, because it's based in Italy. But I didn't know if I was ready to, like, again, I wanted something light, and that just did not seem like a lighthearted book. But I thought, oh, like I'm in Sicily, like it would be cool to read something that was like from Italy. Um, oh, but what's this funny thing is, a lot of these stores and restaurants um that no tourists are coming in, but they're also geared towards, the locals. I don't know. A lot of the music they have playing is in English. And I find that funny because it's not like everyone that works in these stores knows English. So I'm just, or, speaks English. So I'm just like, okay, like it's a lot of top 40 or hip hop music in English, or bachata. Like a lot of bachata music is played in different restaurants that don't even have like a bachata vibe. I don't know. And if you don't know what bachata is, it's a type of Spanish music, and it's like fun Spanish music. It's like Spanish music you like dance to, sometimes slow dance to. Um, and so I just found that very interesting. That I've been to a lot of cafes that are very like calm when you look at the color scheme, but they're playing bachata music, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that makes more sense, because I feel like if you are an Italian speaker, you could probably understand some of the Spanish words, and vice versa. If you're a Spanish speaker, you can understand some of the Italian words. But when they're just playing like top 40 songs, I find that just like very interesting, because I'm like, the staff doesn't even speak English. How do they understand what's playing right now? All right, enough of that. I'm just showing you guys the bookstore from very different angles, because I want you guys to get a really good vibe, like understand it. And then so yeah, enjoy the bookstore. All right, so after looking at so many different types of books and trying to figure out, do I want to buy any of these books, and still the answer is no. I left the bookstore and I started walking back to my Airbnb. Like I said, this was a rainy day. I didn't feel like being out for too long. And then you guys saw this video clip in the last book's video, but I just loved how the sun was hitting this building. Um, it's the theater Garridel, not Garrett. I don't know why I thought that, but it starts with a G. I'll put it here somewhere. It stopped raining for a moment. The sky was blue. The sun was out. It was just so beautiful. And I love that this plaza's here. Um, they have these benches. People could sit on them, and people sit and just enjoy life. And then I stopped recording, but there was a couple that was set up their phone with a stand and they were gonna record and um, probably do a dance. You can see them right there. Okay. And I'm like, you know what? A content creator sees another content creator. All right. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Bye.